There is nothing new under the sun. As spoken of in the parable of the 10 virgins. I have a question. Do you have oil in your lamps? We can use the Hebrew root of the word to explain the understanding of oil. In Strong's Concordance, oil means olive oil, whose name is El-Ha-Yah, number G1636, a feminine of presumed derivative from an absolute primary, an olive, the tree or the fruit. With this understanding, we can see that having oil means you are like a good tree, producing good fruits. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and whoever captures souls is wise. Proverbs 11:30. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. In our flesh, it is nearly impossible for us to maintain 100% of the fruits on our own, as we need to have bought the truth and not sold it, so we can maintain all the burning oil in our lamps. As Jesus, Yeshua, is the way, the truth, and the life, nobody comes to the Father, Elohim, except through him. So by believing and buying and doing the work and having faith like a child, we accept the love of God he has for us. This requires work to ask and knock and receive from God wisdom, instruction, and understanding. He knows what you need already. He wants you to ask him, so to build a relationship and learn to hear his voice, so he can use you in his kingdom as a friend, a brother, a sister, as fellow heirs to the kingdom, to sit next to him for all of eternity. We have all these rewards coming to everyone who will buy the truth and not sell it. Not selling it means to not be deceived by the Antichrist. As Jesus warned, he has come to deceive even the very elect. Your righteousness is righteous forever, and your law is true. Psalm 119, 142. Obedience to God as he has commanded us to love God with all our hearts and souls, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. God gives us free will to choose how we will behave by who we allow to have in our mind. Yeshua HaMashiach or the serpent. By believing on Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, he changes your mind to thinking as he instructed us by leading us through the Word of God. We meditate on the Word of God day and night, and we put a stop to the fiery darts the devil sends to our minds to change our minds from good to evil. The battle is spoken of in Ephesians 6, to have the mindset of Christ and to have the full armor of God on at all times. We are able to fend off the enemy by receiving wisdom from God on how to have peace like a dove and wisdom like a serpent. With anything that comes at us, all of this work is done in righteousness for the glory of God and is rewarded for it. We receive crowns by God, for we are considered sons and daughters of Elohim, and will sit on the throne and rule and reign with him forever, for 1,000 years and forever. This is why it will be so dreadful for those believers who had died once and they are saved from the second death. They receive their eternal bodies. They get to see God in all his glory. But when they arrive naked. They will be in their spiritual bodies outside the gates of New Jerusalem, weeping and gnashing their teeth for not having a wedding garment made of righteous works. Those who did have garments on will instruct those outside the gates, as was done before and written down in Exodus 32 and 33, when Moses instructed Israel on God's laws outside the temple in the tent of meeting, to instruct them on the law of God, as they were naked as well, for Aaron had made them naked, into their shame among their enemies. Exodus 32:25. And in Matthew 22, we know Jesus warns us to not arrive naked to the wedding feast, and to have our oil lamps ready when he returns for us. For those ready, much is waiting for you. And for those not ready yet, God has a plan for you. He will never leave you nor forsake you, and has always done, and what was done before, and as was done before, nothing is new under the sun. God will use his elect to instruct those outside, to get them clothed in righteous instruction, as having put on the mind of Christ, so they can make robes of righteousness and come into the kingdom and be with God for all of eternity. In Revelation 20:7 through 10, it says, "And when 1,000 years were ended, Satan will be released from his prison, and will come out to deceive the nations that are at the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them for battle. Their number is like the sand of the sea, and they marched up over the broad of the plain of the earth, and surrounded the camp of the saints and the beloved city. But fire came down from heaven and consumed them, and the devil who had deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire. For where the beast and the false prophet were, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever." So let's not waste time striving with each other anymore, and let's get to work in righteousness, for the kingdom is coming. Shalom.